ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपुरमाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामीति नमः। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी चारिणि विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद यद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. Very important section of Bhagavatam. Here Brahma is trying to create from today onwards. This is Akshaya Tritiya day. Of course it will not match because Akshaya, this is the day because so many Akshaya Tritiya comes every lifetime of Brahma. It's little difficult to tell exactly which Akshaya Tritiya. But one important thing is Lord Brahma's struggle for existence is a personal example of a continued fight between living entities in this material world and the illusory energy called Maya. This is actually the first thing we should understand from this chapter, that there is a struggle for existence between the living entity in the material world and the illusory energy Maya. Beginning from Brahma down to the living entities, there is always this struggle. And how to handle it, that is actually what is the lesson that is to be learned here. And this is a very good example by Brahma. He says that the living entity is struggling with the force of material nature. By advancement of knowledge in science and transcendental relation, one can try to control material energy, which works against our endeavors. And in the modern age, advanced material scientific knowledge and finance, they have played a very wonderful roles in controlling the power of material energy. The problem is such control of energy, however, can be most successfully carried out if one is a surrendered soul of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the lesson here. Like there is a long penance by Brahma and he is doing his best. But the problem is for a modern person and Brahma, the difference is Brahma is a surrendered soul. You have all these things, but along with that, long penance and transcendental knowledge of self-relation have matured Brahma in practical knowledge, and that is the reason he drank away completely all the water, which is troubling him. Now, after reading this third canto, the purpose of this third canto, very important thing is this section especially, is how to deal with material energy. This is the first problem which all of us have, all the living entities have when we come into the material world. We are thrown into the ocean of material world and we have no clue how to deal with it. And same thing, Brahma also had the same problem. There is a continuous struggle for existence. There is a continuous struggle for with the illusory energy of the Lord, which is Maya. Now, the fundamental problem which every one of us have is to deal with somehow or other by some means to solve this. And now, the natural tendency to solve all these things is material. We are dealing with a huge and very fearsome material energy, which we are all doing. And what we do, we take material solutions. And what happens is by using material energy, which is our mind, is also material energy, right? If you remember the creation, how did this mind come? It is also material creation. And we try to sort out all these things with the help of our mind, which is also material. By using material energy, including mind, and by our material is also a gift by Lord, we will not be able to solve. So that's exactly the mentality which is depicted in the third canto of Bhagavatam. In case of Brahma, he was bewildered. He is so powerful And with his four heads, he was trying to figure out what to do with this metal energy. And he was diving deep and looking in all directions. And with all these things, he couldn't do. He could not really figure out. Then what he did, he was completely still bewildered. Not only that, he understood it at one point that the flower which he was sitting is also started shaking. And that's exactly what happens to the situation in the metal world for all of us. We are trying to figure out somehow this means, that means, and suddenly earthquake comes and everything starts shaking. So many problem comes. That means anytime we can be thrown out of our beautiful lotus flower which we are sitting. Our position here in this metal world is like that. It is applicable for everyone. Whatever position we are sitting, we cannot guarantee that it will stay like this. Now, at the same time, trying to deal with energy on with the help of metal energy won't work also. The Bhagavatam is trying to advise. The suggestion which is given by Bhagavatam is the example of Lord Brahma. What is Brahma's example? Srila Prabhupada says that here Lord Brahma is showing a personal example. There is a huge task at our hand to create. For Brahma, it is creation. For us, it is small thing. And considerably smaller task for us, it may be some project, some temple, some house. But the most important, no matter how big the task is, we have to, what Brahma did, he did tapasya. This is the most important. What to do is, we have to, what is this tapasya? It will be a small task, but it can be a great failure also. He solved the problem by concentration. He has to concentrate on the source of this energy. This is the first thing. What did he do? He concentrated on the source of energy. So this is actually what is we have discussed till third. Today. Maitreya says Brahma engaged himself for the personality of God Narayan, means that he engaged himself in service of Lord. This is the highest penance one can perform for any number of years. There is no retirement for such service. Sorry. The great sage Maitreya said, O Vidura, Brahma does engage in penances for 100 celestial years as advised by the personality of Godhead and applied himself in devotional service to the Lord. So first thing, what Brahma did is he did penance. And this is the recommendation given by the Supreme Lord or example by. Now, what is this penance? Penance means to concentrate. Concentrate on the source of energy. Concentrate. For us, the source of energy is Krishna. We have to concentrate on Krishna. That's it. And concentrate on the source of, before rushing into the struggle for material energy, like wrestling with it and all, boxing and all, we should rather find a solution by this means, and that is called tapasya. Brahma got a beautiful mantra, just two tapasya, 2 syllables, tapa. Now, tapasya, he got this tapa. Now, tapasya does not mean he is standing on one leg like Hiranyakashipu, or he is just struggling very hard. No, tapasya here means to concentrate. This is the meaning of tapasya here. He did not do tapasya. Tapasya means meditation on Lord. This is devotional tapasya. There can be devotional tapasya is concentrated on Krishna. Devotional tapasya. You understand? It is not yogic tapasya. This is actually what is to be understood. meditation on the Lord, as Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling, Manmana bhava madbhakto. This is tapasya for us. And this is what we are supposed to do. If we want to solve the problems which we are facing, if we want to be victorious from our struggle, there is only one means to do it. That is the proper means. We have to focus on the Supreme Lord. All the problems are simple. We say, how is it practical? We'll discuss on that. It's the proper means to do. To really think about the Lord and invoke His mercy. And this is what Bhagavatam Brahmaji is doing. Our mind becomes more and more clean, more transparent, and we can see material world and the problems which we are facing more and more, because the main problem is not the problem. The main problem is that our wrong way to see the problem. This is we'll discuss this point, very important point to be understood. Theory is very easy. I am giving you theoretical knowledge only. The problem is not problem. It's a wrong way to see the situation. Like we say, why we have problem? Now, if we take this word, this I have discussed also. Again, just to revision. If we take world as place for enjoyment, then we have problems. If we take world as a place for learning, now every situation is a learning experience only to make us grow. Like now, we cannot say now the problem which we are facing is a learning experience. It is very difficult to accept it. But if you look back in your life, whenever we had problems, that is the time we have grown maximum. If you look back in your life, the crisis time is the time of growth. We have become more mature. Our understanding of the world changed. Everything happened. That means what happened? We learned when we faced problems. Now, and that is no more a problem only. Say in childhood, when my toy was broken, or my brother or sister took my toy, or something happened, somebody cheated me in my cricket match, or somebody cheated me in my video game. It was a big crisis, and I was crying for a long time. I was fighting with my mother. Now, if you think of the same situation, that time it is a big crisis. Now, is it a crisis? It's no more a crisis. 10 years back, which I had thought it is a crisis of my life, now I think, oh, it's not a big deal. Same thing. Now, what we think is crisis, now no more crisis in the after 10 years. After 10 years, it's no more crisis. That means now what we are thinking so seriously, it's not a serious thing at all. Why? Because we have grown in our consciousness. That's why it is no more. In childhood, what was a big trauma? My teacher did not give me proper marks. She gave me 1 mark less. It's a big crisis. Now, because we have grown in our state of consciousness, even she did not give me, hardly she passed also, it was a big thing for me. It's not a big deal. Why? We have grown. That's why the problem is not the problem, the way we are looking at it. That is a wrong way to see the problem. The problem can be solved. There is no doubt about it. But because we are bewildered by Maya, we don't really see what the problem is. We try to solve not the problem which we are facing, but after effects of the problem. This is also another important. We are not trying to solve the problem, we are trying to solve the after effects. But after effects, I'll explain. Now, what does it mean? Like, They have, say, some headache. So that is a problem. Then what is the solution? Okay, go and take immediately some medicine. You get cured with the headache. But what is the root cause of the problem? That is not solved in modern times. They come, they go to the doctor. Doctor says, okay, this is the headache. Take this medicine. Good. Why headache is coming? Because lifestyle is like that. That is not solved. That's why Albert Einstein's famous statement is there. It is the sheer madness of modern age. They try to solve the problem on the same level of mind with which they created the problem. This is a very famous statement you might have heard many times. The problem with which we are facing is created, and we think that mind can create this problem, can solve this problem. No, mind will only aggravate the problem because it is with the same mentality. The same mentality created problem. We are trying to solve it, it won't work. But Brahma, same thing with environmental crisis and all these things which are happening in modern times. They are creating, they are trying to solve it, it won't work. Dukkaushadam tadapi dukkham atadhyaham. Prahlad says. They are trying to cheat. They are trying to solve. But if you try to solve, it will result in a greater problem, madness. Now, tapasya or meditation on the Lord is means to purify the mind. When we are concentrating on the Lord, like I have a problem, what should I do? Take my japmala, peacefully chant, peacefully hear Bhagavatam, and do some service to the Lord. When I am focusing on the Lord, meditating on the Lord, what is happening? Consciousness is growing. That is how we are solving the problem. We are trying to address the root of the problem by doing it. When we say, na, Krishna can solve all the problems, Krishna solve all the problems means what? We are growing in our mind by tapasya. That is why we are getting the solutions from only mind. When your mind is pure and transparent, then we'll be able to clearly see what is the real cause of all problems that we are facing. Only this pure mind can solve the root cause of everything. And that's what again is explained in this section of Bhagavatam. Brahma's ways of solving the problem. He is the first creator, he is the first guru for all of us, and we have to accept what he is teaching. He's teaching when he was first meditating, he could see the Lord clearly. And then, based on that, he was in crisis in one way. Then he tried to solve it. By metal means it did work. He did meditate on the source of his energy. He got darshan of Lord. Then he made it all these things possible. Because meditation of Lord is in his mind, first it's he clearly could see so much devastating water. He said he drank everything. Now, this is doing it will become very natural, slowly with our sadhana. We also start praying. Praying to the Lord is what? Now, the main mistake which always do is to deal with energy without understanding who is the master of this energy. This is a mistake people do. I am dealing with mental energy, all the situations in this world. Everybody is trying to do all these mental scientists and all, but without knowing the root of this, the real problem, they are not understanding. Therefore, the not knowing the source of this energy, that's the main problem. And Bhagavatam, this is ultimate philosophy of Bhagavatam is to do tapasya. Tapasya is concentration. Vidya means knowledge. Avidya means not ignorance. Avidya means wrong knowledge. And this is full with people around. And now first tapasya is two things. See, tapasya is not just chanting. Tapasya here, very important point. Please stand. Meditating on the Lord combined with chanting of the whole name, not just chanting the Lord, but also meditating on the Lord. So we'll try to understand this. When Brahma did this tapasya, what is for 100 penance he is doing? He is chanting plus meditating. Both he is doing. Now that is called tapasya. Now we only chant. Meditation is little difficult. because our mind does not want to meditate on Lord. Because chanting will become mechanical if you are not meditating. Only if you meditate on Lord while, that means when we are doing consciously, then it becomes tapasya. Right? Simple. Here, Prabhupada, the Brahma engage himself for the personality of Godhead. Narayana means that he engaged himself in the service of Lord. This is the highest penance one can perform for any number of years. There is no retirement for service, which is eternal and ever encouraging. Right? Yeah, remembering also. While chanting, we should remember also Lord. That is the important aspect. तद्विलोक्याब्ज सम्भूतो याय नायत् अधिष्ठितः पद्मम् अम्बस च तत्काल कृतवीर्येण कम्पितम्. Thereafter, Brahma saw that both the lotus on which he was situated and the water on which the lotus was growing were trembling due to a strong violent wind. This is what the material world is called illusory because it is a place of forgetfulness of the transcendental service of the Lord. Thus, one engaged in the Lord's devotional service in the material world may sometimes be very much disturbed by awkward circumstances. There is a declaration of war between the two parties, the illusory energy and the devotee, and sometimes the weak devotee falls victim to the onslaught of powerful illusory energy. Lord Brahma, however, was sufficiently strong. By the causeless mercy of Lord, he did not be victimized by the material energy, although it gave him cause for anxiety when it is managed to totter the existence of his position. This is actually what is material world. And we try to solve it, then there is a problem. And what Brahma did? Tapasahi edha manena vidyaya chatma samstaya virvidha vijnana balo yapad yayum samasa. Long penance and transcendental knowledge of self-realization had matured Brahma in practical knowledge, and thus he drank the wind completely along with the water. This is actually Brahma did. What happened? He, by penance and knowledge, he became mature. That means his mind has grown, became more mature. With the same level of mind, he cannot solve. Now he has grown, that's why he is able to solve. Lord Brahma's struggle for existence is a personal example of continuous fight between the living entity and material world and the illusion energy called Maya. This is what we are discussing. There is a continuous struggle for existence. Beginning from Brahma down to this age, the living entities are struggling with forces of material energy. By advanced knowledge in science and transcendental relation, one can try to control the material energy which works against our endeavors. And modern age, advanced material science, knowledge, and philosophy have played very wonderful roles in controlling the powers of material energy. Such control of material energy, however, can be more successfully carried out if one is so surrendered onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and carries out his orders in the spirit of loving transcendental service. So, this is the point. That we are trying, but material means we are trying. It won't work. Such control of material energy, however, can be most successfully carried out if one is soul surrendered. This is the important. If we are surrendered soul, like Brahmaji, and that's what Brahmaji did. Tat vilokya vidya vyapi pushkaram yat adishtitam anena lokan prabhinan kalpitasmit Smithya achintayat. Thereafter, he saw that the lotus on which he was situated was spread throughout the universe, and he contemplated how to create all the planets, which was previously merged in that very same lotus. The seed of all planets in the universe are impregnated in the lotus on which Brahma was situated. So, the seeds are all there. Krishna is telling, Aham Bija Pradapita. Lord Krishna actually gives the seed and they are grown by Brahma. All the plants are already generated by Lord, and all the living entities are also born in Brahma, the material world, and the living entities are already generated in seedling forms by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Brahma was to disseminate the same seedlings all over the universe. The real creation is therefore called Sarga, and the later on the manifestation of Brahma is called Visarga. The Lord already did. It's just making Brahma take some credit. He also do something. This is the most important thing that Atma Samsthaya. This is what Lord is telling here previously. Atma Samsthaya. Atma Samsthaya. Atma Samsthaya is also an instrument. That is means that to solve the problem. But the result of it is by chanting the mantras. Now, Bala Bala means our strength. People they take material means to solve all these karmic books which people take help, Stephen Covey and all these self-help books and all. This is actually not going to solve the problem very greatly. It cannot ultimately solve. Only solution is by studying Bhagavatam. The methodology which Bhagavatam is giving, it is very simple. He says, you do tapasya, you chant the holy name, meditate on the Lord, you will understand everything. That is the way of gaining proper knowledge. There are two ways of gaining. You read and you understand. And you do tapasya and you gain knowledge. We have to choose among the both. Which way I want to gain knowledge. Tapasya is a proper way to gain knowledge. Like every day we wake up at morning, chant the holy name, chanting every day 16 minutes. That is actually the way to gain proper knowledge. And it increases our practical understanding. That's called Vijnana. And not only that, that gives us strength, the ability to deal with difficult problems in life. We can see this is the way, the ability which Brahma got immediately. And Brahma started creating, and everything was threatened to be destroyed. They said this energy of solution was there in the water at mid. Like all these elements, very powerful elements, which we have to deal on a daily basis. Like there are big hurricanes, big winds, tornadoes, earthquakes, and all these things. They are huge. How to deal? And Brahma was also in the same dilemma. And then he said, okay, he just trying. Krishna is giving that power. Now we have to deal with energy by pleasing the master. That is very simple. Now we'll just see what Brahmaji did after this. Padmakosham tadavisya bhagavat karma choditaha ekam vyabhamchyat purtha tidha bhavya disaptada. Thus engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Brahma entered into the world of the lotus and it spread all over the universe. He divided it into three divisions of the world and later into 14 divisions. Now he started. So once he entered, it expanded. So it was small, then the world expanded and it became into huge creation. How it happens? So consciousness enters, then the matter expands. This is the formula. It is not vice versa. When consciousness enters, matter expands. Like a bachelor boy is there. He has his house. So as soon as he gets married, Then he has wife and husband. Now, when they enter into